Hello and welcome to Let's Talk SEO. So Google has announced its March core update alongside its March spam update. In this video, I'm going to go over the March update, what the March update is about, what I am seeing, even though it's been around 12 hours since Google announced this, what I'm seeing in terms of how my websites are ranking and what I think the algorithm is doing. Now, before I get into the video, I just want to say I offer SEO services for a living. If you're looking for someone to do SEO for you, there's a link in the description to a Google's form. Fill out the form and I'll get in touch with you when we can then discuss what you need. If you're looking for a short-term service, for instance, you need your website audited to figure out what's going wrong in terms of SEO, there's a link in the description that takes you to my audit. Just, buy the audit online. I'll get in touch with you. I'll do your website audit. Or if you need a topical map to build topic authority, which I think is now the most important part of ranking, is to build authority. And so the topical maps help you map out exactly what you need to do in order to build that authority in terms of what types of content you need to write and then how that content needs to be linked. And so topical authority is now more important than ever before, especially for the helpful content updates and subsequent Google updates. And as you will see in this video, I think if you're not building authority and you're not building it correctly, so it's not right for writing 5,000 articles, but it's knowing exactly what you're doing, and that will help you rank your site, not only in the short term with subsequent Google updates, but also in the long term if you want your website to really continue to ride a high ranking wave throughout the year. All right, so the March core update is rather strange because even though Google says that this is a core update, the focus on the messaging has been on surfacing helpful content. I'll just start by saying, when I took a look at the rankings of my test websites, all my rankings have improved a great deal without me doing anything. And the rankings have improved overnight, quite literally, because when this update was announced, I was sleeping. And so I just found out about the update when I woke up. And when I checked my rankings, I refreshed my rank tracker, I saw that my rankings had jumped a great deal and without doing anything. And so keywords for which I was ranking for on the third page, I am now on the top of the first page. I'm on the top of the second page. And again, without doing anything, without doing any internal linking or anything like that. And so the algorithm has favored most of my websites. And I'm looking at my client sites, and my client sites have done very well, except for one client site that seems to have gone down by 2 positions. And so that's something I'll investigate. But by and large, 99% of my websites have gone up or they've jumped up, even those websites for which I was working on for the past 2-3 months, I was not seeing much progress, and I just had to tell the client, you will see progress when there's an update. And now finally there's an uptick in their rankings, and hopefully that will translate to traffic. The focus, I think, now with the March core update is for Google to surface more helpful content, which it promises with every helpful content update. But because Google said that it will not be rolling out more helpful content updates, I believe they said that, and because they're not going to be more helpful content updates, it's not going to be part of the core update, I assume. And with the core update, what they're saying is now the goal with this update is to have several systems in place that decide or help figure out whether the content is helpful or not. And instead of doing it on a site-wide basis, the focus is now on a page-per-page basis. And so if you have one page that's very helpful, or the algorithm thinks it's helpful, then that will do very well, even if the remainder of your site is not doing very well. And so the focus should now be on improving the content on your pages. But how does that translate to service pages, for instance? Or how does that translate to product pages, for instance? Well, this algorithm is not for them. The March core algorithm is not necessarily meant for service pages, but it's meant for the blog section of the service pages. And so if all you're doing is just posting AI-generated blogs because some YouTuber told you to do it, you're probably going to see your rankings tank. But if you're really writing for your audience, that will not only translate to people clicking on and reading your blog, but then it also buying your service. If you're selling a service, in terms of an e-commerce store, what that would mean is that if you're doing helpful blogs and the blogs are bringing in good traffic, which I assume that this update is aimed to do it, and it's not just clickbait stuff, then that will mean that you're going to pull in more traffic to your website, and also that will translate to more sales because the people will see your products. And if you put effort into your pages to show your products, even on your blog pages, even on your informational pages, people will buy your products. It's just that I see people just segregate the blog pages from the product pages in an e-commerce store. And if you're reading a review for the iPhone, there's no real way to just buy the iPhone off that page without going to the page that actually sells the iPhone. And so that's something that requires a little bit of engineering, and I work with clients to help do that. So the other thing with this update is that Google has said that it's going to work on surfacing content that was otherwise not surfacing. So for instance, if you searched for where to eat the best biryani and you're in Dubai like I am, you would see Reddit for that search. You still see Reddit for the search. In the past, I would see Reddit on number 9 and 10, but now I see Reddit on number 3. So for some reason, Reddit continues to surface. And my assumption was, and still is, that Google is trying to minimize the search terms for which Reddit shows up. But I don't know. I mean, maybe we're still in the early hours of this rolling out. So maybe, and Google has said that this is going to be rolling out for the next month, which means that there is a chance that there will be a correction in Google's algorithm. So the number one thing is make sure that your pages are helpful. That's what Google wants you to do. And instead of having one system evaluating pages, like Google said, now Google has multiple systems evaluating pages. And so make sure that your pages are helpful, which is again an arbitrary, it's something that Google doesn't tell what a helpful page is. The second thing is Google wants you to know that even though this is not a site-wide thing and Google is looking at pages individually, if your domain is fundamentally spammy or low quality, you're going to have a tough time ranking those pages because a lot of your SEO depends on internal linking. And if you're not doing your internal linking correctly, you're not going to rank at all. And so if your domain is spammy, or if you bought an age domain and that was used to be a spammy PBN, and now you're trying to rank it, you're not going to rank. So that's right off the bat. If the vast majority of your articles are low quality, and you let's say have 10% of great quality articles that are user-centric, you're going to have a problem ranking them. And so the way around that would be is to delete or remove all the low quality content or improve all the low quality content, which is easier said than done. I had someone come to me a month or so ago, and they had purchased a domain for a lot of money, and they were trying to fix the domain. And so I did a month of work. The domain didn't really go anywhere because the vast majority of stuff on the domain was just low quality. They didn't want to go into the second month improving the content on their pages because according to them, they spent a lot of money on it, which I understand. But because of that, with this update, they probably see their domain actually go down, or it was going down anyways. And so you'd have to put in the effort to make sure that the vast majority of your content is high quality. And again, because all content is linked to each other. The other thing that you need to do with this update, and this is something that Google says, is to make sure that it's not clickbait. And I know, you have to get clicks on your content, but if your content is just clickbaity, this is why does George Clooney not wear Nike shoes? Again, that kind of content will not surface very well. And Google has said that in the past, but I've seen that kind of content surface anyways. It does very well in social media, which is why they do so well in search, because they bring a lot of traffic. But other than that, Google's focus for now, or for quite a while, has been to not have this kind of content ranked very well. And finally, what you want to do is you want to monitor each page individually. And so this might take multiple revisions. If you're seeing a page that has gone down during this update, wait until the update is over. Don't do anything right now just because you're losing traffic at the moment. Wait for until Google announces that the update has finished rolling out before you take stock of what's going on and fix or address the issues on your site. Don't jump in right away. If your site has been declining for a while, get an audit done. try to figure out exactly what's going on so that you can fix what's on your site, so that if the update is going to favor you, it will favor you. And I think the update is going to favor a lot of high quality content articles. But in addition, Google has a deal with Reddit, and so we might continue to see Reddit even after the update. Even if Reddit has a lot of spammy posts, we're going to still see a lot of Reddit. But in all fairness, if you fix your site, if you get it on track, you should be able to surface, at least for a lot of informational content, a lot of people who are searching for local services. Put in high quality content, build great internal links, make sure that you do your keyword research correctly, and I see a lot of people doing it wrong. Make sure that you're building pages that matter. Let me know in the comments below if you've been adversely hit by the March core update. Like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.